Ofir Eliasi, Chief Builder at Stitch, giving us a demo. Everyone, big round of applause.
And cover off, okay. You got this. I don't see my stuff. Okay, good. Thank you. Hello, everybody. So, my name is Ofir, as already mentioned. I'm Chief Blockchain Officer at Kerberos that secures 250K users for already 3 years. Besides that, recently helped the foundation team, the account abstraction team, with the EIL project, and did like some kind of design partner, building some real dapp on the platform. Just a bit about me as a context, exposed to account abstraction a couple of years ago as a strategic researcher with Bioeconomy, got bullish on account abstraction. Then it rolled out after that as a startup, building intent solution for users based on account abstraction. There also I suffered from a lot of bad behaviors experience that later solved with EIL. And eventually, as I said, help the team fine-tune and test the project properly. That is actually mean building the product. As EIL, from my point of view, dealing with DeFi and also involved with a lot of user experience and engineering, the idea it's actually to have something with way better capabilities and in a way that is abstract stuff completely, make it very easy to build on blockchain, removing all kind of obstacles that deals with execution on chain, and especially when it comes to cross-chain execution. And of course, as I said, it's mostly involved with my experience trying to build something like this. Before that, handling a lot of account abstractions, user experience, and to be honest, failed. And I think here you're going to see something that will be much more efficient. So first, I'm going to start with a live demo, just to show you what we actually managed to build, part of having such kind of solution. So Stitch is actually an app, and I know Yoav and also Shachaf mentioned that EIL is not an intent solution. But what it does, it makes it very simple to build such a thing in a way that sometimes people can get confused. So we built something that get the user a very smooth experience, considering EIL with a single signature for cross-chain multi-step execution in a way that it actually doesn't feel like this. So just a short connection. I have my app over here, my wallet connected, and I'm going to pick something from my wallet, like USDC. And I can pick here on this app, like generally some funds or like a specific chain. I'm going to pick something from Optimism and like 10 USDC on Optimism. And let's say I want to get something. Okay. Now it's the outreach happening. We know that exactly. Let's try once again. Stitch up. Yeah, it's messed up, so I'm going to show it later. Anyway, I'm going to try one more time in a couple of minutes. If not, we have a backup issue in that we have issues with the network, generally worldwide, you know, the outreach. So what we did, building Stitch. EIL provides an SDK that's involved with creating an action, means any step, any execution on-chain, having a voucher in and out, want to navigate funds cross-chain, and a batch that actually contains multiple steps into it. What we did, building Stitch, is actually creating an additional layer, extending the EIL SDK, having more blocks, like building blocks into it, that allow us to do DeFi actions more smoothly. So you can do a deposit, withdrawal, and so on any protocol, and extending that. By the way, tomorrow we're going to have a workshop to show how easy is it to integrate or to implement a new protocol, a new action. And on this case, by the way, the efficiency of having such a good developer experience is because or by having the ability to solve things and work around stuff when you need, for example, to wrap and unwrap stuff around wrapped ether and all kind of navigation around limitation of blockchains. So we managed to do that very easy. Tomorrow we're going to talk about that. And eventually, on top of it, as I said, we build some kind of a logic that user can pick whatever he wants on the funds to allocate some funds and decide what will be the end goal or like the target, the destination of its funds. That can be any DeFi protocol on any chain that is supported, EVMs for now. And it means also from and to those state destinations. Okay? So I'm going to try once again. If not, I'm going to see a video on that. But the idea is to have something like this. No, it's not working. Okay, let's do like this. Okay. I don't think that's the case, but we can try. No. I'm going to show a video, and tomorrow we're going to have something like this. So, having such a solution gets you into the place when you actually can do something like this. So the idea is we can, as I want to do, of course, connect my wallet, and on some point, getting some funds allocated into this. We want to show USDC case working, so we're going to pick something that is related to USDC. Once we did that, this was recorded this morning, so once we did that and we picked some balance into it, we can now go and pick a destination. On this demo, I picked Aave, and I want to have like a wrapped ether into it. So now you can see that I'm going to go from USDC on Optimism into wrapped ether over Ethereum. You get the full path, and then you're going to get executed. once you see right now is actually loading the exact code, and now it's going to get into wallet signature. You can see 2 user hops. That means we have one for source chain and one destination chain. In that case, now execution goes on this side. You can see that on logs, optimism is executed first, and then it's on the destination chain, Ethereum, and boom, you have funds secured on destination chain, deposited into Aave. Part of it is having the ability to see also on logs that you have voucher created, used, and eventually executed. You can also see here the supply on Ethereum. That is actually the action of having a DeFi involved into that. And of course, getting into that in place. So what else I want to show here? And you can see we created some kind of like a basic explorer over here that you can see that when you have, for this transaction, what we just saw, you can see the user ops executing, okay, according to what we did, and also voucher created. This is like on the destination chain, and you can see the source chain getting into that. That is the user op of swapping before, and the voucher that is created afterwards. Besides that, the point of, we're going to have another demo, and we're going to try one more time, but it seems like we are still off. One second. Anyway, in the meanwhile, what we did is actually to get this thing in place is the ability to have these building blocks involved, getting all the options available for the logic, and on that case, you can just pick what the exact path you want to have. For example, if you want to go from one token to another on a different chain, that's involved with also with swapping. So you can integrate into that any swapping mechanism. We picked one, random one, but it can actually have like multiple of those. This idea gives you the option of getting into any path and like actually chain any execution into a single signature, and on that case, having a full path of that involved into DeFi executing into supply, in this case, into a single chain. So I'm going to show you like the next one that is like more on the complex side of it. So in this case, we're going to do something like a bit more complex. So in this case, we want to do like something like, as I said, more advanced. So we're going to pick a couple of assets on different chains. On this case, we're going to have wrapped ETH from multiple. I can do it like by just clicking wrapped ETH, but in this case, since we want to do all of them and not let the system decide for us, we're going to pick 3 chains, wrapped ETH, Ethereum, Optimism, and Arbitrum. And as a destination, we want to have, we're going to pick limitless. On this case, we picked one question, random one, like one more time, whatever, or Blue Valentine. So you can pick any kind of those available on-chain scene on Limitless, and you will get the exact thing involved with like the amount and so on. So once you have that, and we can see all the details over here, and stuff is actually defined, we're going to get the full path of execution like this. And I'm going to stop over here just to explain what we are seeing over here. As I said, EIL is based on batches. That means a batch is an execution involved multi-step on a single chain. In other words, if I want to have wrapped ETH from Ethereum into Base, and I want to make it also USDC, so I'm going to do a swap from wrapped ETH to Base, and then to create a voucher, okay? By the way, I can also do the same of having the swap on the destination chain. On this case, we picked to do the swap on the source chain, but it also means I'm going to have the same batch or a batch like this for Optimism and Arbitrum. Can be different type of tokens, different type of amount, but each one, I can say that each one of those arrows actually represent a batch. So executing such thing can be like, happens in a way that is, once I'm signing, you're gonna see the execution goes, and on some point, it's gonna move into this is the signing process, of course. And you can see also here that we're gonna sign 4 user ops. That is actually 1 per chain. That eventually you see some of them already executed, and then once they're on the same chain, this is like the destination chain execution. Sorry. Okay. Got into this, and now you can see like a full path of execution involved with multiple chains. So you can see at the beginning that Optimism, Ethereum, and Arbitrum are kind of running in parallel, and then once they are done, the Base batch is waiting for all of them to be executed, and then he claims the voucher and keeps executing the target chain batch until we get the funds into limitless protocol. Besides that, what we can also see over here, that if I'm going to pick any of those, that actually give us more detailed information about what happens inside it. So you can see the user op, you can see the transaction, and you can also see the status of the execution when it's actually processing. So, bottom line, what we get on this kind of execution, or what we learn by implementing a dapp aggregator based on EIL. First, we know that we want to get a better user experience, a single signature for multiple chains, and also involved with a very simple way and experience for the user. That's for sure. But what we learned more than that is how easy to develop on top of EIL, based on the SDK, or actually to extend the SDK. The modularity of what we got, or the ability to extend that and create more steps, more building blocks, and more paths, or like to combine them into like different paths, is actually something that we can say confidently that was make developers less involved with bits and bytes, less involved with failures, and actually simplify or abstracting the process for them, makes it safer, but also easier and faster to develop. By the way, about that, about the capabilities, once you have such building blocks and you're involved with the simple execution, it actually gets you the ability to do stuff that before wasn't available for us. From my experience, trying that without EIL put me in a position when I can do like stuff like cross-chain and swap and also supply very easy and safe. That's it, I guess.
Thank you for that awesome demo. While I get the questions up, I want to invite everyone to make sure that they've scanned the QR code here and put your questions in. If you don't have a specific question, feel free to scan and also look through the questions that have been proposed. You can upvote them and get them higher in the queue. Give me a moment here. All right. And with Cloudflare, all right. While we wait for technology to do its thing, does anybody have a question that they want to ask out loud? OG status with like a real microphone? All right. I'll hop down.
Yeah, so the UI looks great. Thanks for the presentation. Just one question about, I see that in most cases you did 3 operations or 3 kind of like events or sequence of events. First of all was the origin chain, like the liquidity in the origin chain, then the destination chain, and then there is some action related to lending or depositing, something like that. I was wondering if the way it works is like you send tokens from origin chain to destination chain and then deposit to some liquidity provider or some DeFi protocol. I didn't understand that part. Could you kind of explain that?
So on EIL, or like mostly EIL SDK terminology, you have actions. In that case, any transaction, or actually on account transaction, any user op is an action. So, and the basic SDK provides you some of the actions, like creating a voucher, claiming a voucher, and the basic call into a contract, and even ERC20 approval. So you got the basic stuff over there. Part of what we did, by the way, it's going to be published as an open source, is to take the base action and to override it into any DeFi protocol that we need and make different types of actions. So supply to Aave is an action, and buying something on Limitless is an action, but also wrap and unwrap wrapped ETH is also an action, and of course swaps and so on. So the idea is once you have all these building blocks in place, you just combine them into your path, into a batch, that each batch represents an execution on a specific chain. And in that case, you can have all the batches into execution, and the SDK actually manages that for you. It's actually waiting for the batches to be executed, and then move to the destination chain of execution. It can be involved with multiple batches, multiple chains actually, and you can do like more complex stuff into it, but what you saw over here is like the ability to create a full path involved with multiple chains into a single execution, into a single signature actually.
All right, thank you for that awesome question. We have another one. From a user point of view, what's the difference between EIL and OIF?
And OIF, okay, yeah, I like this one. I will explain. I think, like already said, and I also mentioned that EIL is not actually get you the full solution of intents. It's actually a way to build easily. What we did is actually creating some mechanism that involved with the intents in a way that user can say, I want to go from here to there, and execution goes according to what the engine or the logic decide. So in that case, what we actually, the way I see EIL is actually enables a lot of concepts, a lot of user experience available out there in a way that is more simple. You know, you don't even, on some cases, you don't like need to be like deep into stuff regarding blockchain. So it simplifies the process, shorten it, and actually makes it more safe.
Thank you. I'm just checking any other ones have come in. What's next for Stitch?
Well, there are a couple of stuff that we see as next step. What you didn't see over here is to have the ability to go from DeFi to DeFi. And I mean, like, I'm having funds on Aave, on specific chain, like say Optimism, and I want to take those into Aave on a different chain. Okay, so that's something that is, I think, going to take on development perspective something around like a week or something like that. So extending that can be easily done, and on that case you can go from many to many, and also from DeFi to DeFi, and also involved with DeFi to wallets or transfers and so on. So imagine the concept of having a destination that can be your wallet or someone else's wallet, any DeFi protocol, DEXs and so on. And the same goes for the source state, when you can have also DeFi, wallets, and so on as a source. And on that case, you can actually navigate anything to anything on any path. There are more advanced paths that can be involved that we thought about having, but it's probably not for a short demo, is, for example, how to do like circles. I want to leverage stuff, and I want to be like, I want to lend and borrow and lend and borrow once again and once again. That's also available. We just need to put the logic in place, and in that case, you're going to have it.
And for anyone that wasn't here earlier, can you explain how vouchers work?
Okay, about vouchers. So I guess someone else will do that like even better than I. But the idea of voucher is to get some kind of, I'll do like very abstractive, and they said like voucher are the ability to set, to deposit some amount on one chain, okay, and define what will be the destination chain, and get it on the destination chain the way you want it. So on that case, you need to create a voucher on the source chain and to claim it on the destination chain, and the magic happens by EIL.
Awesome. And this one may not be for you, but it is in the chat. Timeline for EIL on mainnet.
Timeline.
Now it's going to be more of a EIL team thing. So in that case, big round of applause for that amazing demo.
Thank you.